In this video, I'll be installing a BlueBus in two different BMW X3 E83. The interesting part is that these vehicles have different factory wiring configurations, so the installation process is not exactly the same. If you're considering a BlueBus for your E83, this should help you determine which setup applies to your vehicle. Me and my wife own both a BMW X3, mine is from 09 and hers is from 07. This one is my personal car, which does not have the factory CD changer or XM pre-wiring. It has the HiFi sound system, and this one is my wife's car, which does come with the XM pre-wiring in the armrest, as well as the factory navigation system and the premium top HiFi DSP sound system. Depending on your configuration, the installation will be different, so I'll walk you through both. The BlueBus integrates directly with the factory system and allows you to add Bluetooth audio and hands-free calling while keeping a fully OEM-style experience. Everything is controlled through the factory buttons, and it behaves like a native feature of the car. Let's start with the most complicated part, fishing the wire from the armrest to the factory radio. Remove the armrest box by pulling on its side. Locate the connector and disconnect it by pulling on the tab. Since this connector won't be used, you can cover it with Tesa tape and tuck it away. The first part of the harness is connected here. You can then run the cable under the armrest box's bottom bracket. This allows the second connector to be pulled out of the center console without difficulty. Then you need to pass the connector behind the dash to connect at the back of the OEM radio. To do so, pull out the center vents. Be careful to not pull it too far from the dash as an electrical connector is present. To give us some room, you can disconnect this cable. Remove the two Phillips screws securing the climate control panel. Gently pull the panel to release it. Shifting the gear selector to N or D helps create more space. You'll find 4 connectors behind the panel. Disconnecting them isn't mandatory, but doing so provides a much clearer working area. There are 2 Phillips screws securing the OEM radio. On my vehicle, one was missing. Disconnect the main connector at the back of the radio. From here, you can use a metal rod to help fish the new connector through more easily. Secure the connector to the metal rod with tape, then pull the side cover slightly to create enough space for the connector to pass through. Slowly pull the metal rod back to retrieve the connector. Connect the harness to the main radio connector. It slides in and locks with a tab. Reattach the main harness and the FM antenna to the OEM radio. Make sure the wiring isn't tight and has enough slack to avoid pinching. Let's continue the installation in the trunk area. I replaced the factory amplifier with an aftermarket unit, but this does not affect the installation of the BlueBus. The harness provided by TED makes the process much easier, as it only requires a single connector to control everything. Simply disconnect the main connector from the TCU module. Please be extra careful when reconnecting the connector. The arrow must point toward the OEM harness wire bundle to ensure proper alignment. The BlueBus will light up instantly, confirming that the connection was made correctly. You can now finish the installation by securing the BlueBus unit. I'll show you in a second a quick demo of the excellent sound quality I'm getting with my iPhone connected over Bluetooth. This section applies to vehicles equipped with the preparation for 6 CD changer. In this configuration, most of the wiring is already installed from the factory, which makes the BlueBus setup very straightforward. Simply disconnect the main connector from the TCU module. Please be extra careful when reconnecting the connector. The arrow must point toward the OEM harness wire bundle to ensure proper alignment. I personally used the power and audio wires that originally fed the SiriusXM module. Please note that the satellite radio preparation applies only to North American models. Since I don't use Sirius, these connectors were available. This makes the installation much easier because all the connections are in the same place. You simply plug the BlueBus into the factory Sirius power and audio connectors. The BlueBus will light up instantly, confirming that the connection was made correctly. Since we'll be using the CDSD-ARS connector, we need to remove the original radio in order to swap the connector at the back of the unit. To do so, pull out the center vents. Be careful to not pull it too far from the dash as an electrical connector is present. To give us some room, you can disconnect this cable. Remove the 2 Phillips screws securing the climate control panel. Gently pull the panel to release it. Shifting the gear selector to N or D helps create more space. You'll find 4 connectors behind the panel. Disconnecting them isn't mandatory, but doing so provides a much clearer working area. Disconnect the main harness connector of the OEM radio. 2 white connectors are available. We need to swap the one that was originally connected to the radio. Reattach the main harness and the FM antenna to the OEM radio. You can control everything using the factory buttons, which makes the experience feel completely OEM. Calls are also handled directly through the system, providing a clean and integrated hands-free experience. Additionally, the BlueBus allows you to enable comfort features such as auto unlock and adjustable turn signal blink count. This is definitely my favorite comfort feature. Here is a short demo of the original top HiFi sound system. Overall, what I really like about this system is how well it integrates with the car. It doesn't feel like an add-on, it feels like it was meant to be there. The installation complexity depends on your vehicle configuration, but both solutions remain clean and fully reversible. If you're looking to modernize an E83 without compromising the original design, this is definitely a solid option.